bro.
You get it there?
Oh, did you what?
So Daniel doesn't know the trick that I'm about to show him, right? He's oblivious, and I've instructed him, hey man, just hold on to this camera and get a close-up. And that's all you've been given. That's all the instruction you've been given, right? You don't know what's about. The only thing you don't want to do is you don't want to consume the Tic Tacs.
You already consumed?
You don't want to consume the Tic Tacs because they came from China, right? That's a statement that you're making?
Yes.
You don't want to consume them because they came from... I hope you know that these are always manufactured from China. They're coming from something.
Are they really?
Whenever you get like groceries, they're coming from China.
No,
so what's
bro.
it matter? Okay.
Don't eat that. I'm not eating that. Do I have to eat it for the trick?
You don't have to eat it.
Oh, okay.
All right. But there's a trick, though. There's a trick. I don't know if you've seen it. So, take that, goes in your mouth, right? Here's the part that I said in the tutorial that you got to get your nasal passages clear, right? Okay, get a close-up of this. I don't know how we're going to do this on camera, but get a close-up. Get a close-up. Get a close-up. Get a close-up. All right. Okay. Hold up. Okay. I don't know. It's gonna be better without the without these. Okay. I don't know if you got this here.
Are you gonna David blame me right now, dude?
Look. I don't know if you can see that there. Look. Get a close up. I don't know if you can see it there.
What the fuck is wrong with you, bro?
You got it there?
Oh, did you what?
And that's the Tic Tac. You could have signed it if you wanted to. You could have signed it. That's the Tic Tac.
You just David blamed me, bro.
Yeah.
Did you put that in your eye before? This is so disgusting.
So what do you think of it? What do you think of the trick? Is it good? You like it? Let's get your honest review here now that we have you on camera.
That's the grossest thing I've ever seen. That's really cool, though.
Do you like it? Okay.
That was really cool.
I hope you got that accurately from that secondary camera. That's a Tic Tac.
I don't know. Is it wet?
Yeah, it was in my eyeball, and it went through my nasal passages. So today we're going to be taking a look at eye candy. Now the reason I didn't want to tell the name to Daniel beforehand is because it's kind of obvious where it's going to end up if you say, hey man, I'm going to show you a trick called eye candy. Now this is a trick from Eric Ross produced by Hansen Chen, who graciously sent me this out. I believe they're in pre-order, and it's a great trick. You saw it there. You take a Tic Tac, you put it in your mouth, and apparently you can make that Tic Tac make its way through the nasal passages and come out of your eyeball. Now, obviously, this trick has some restrictions in terms of being able to perform it because you don't necessarily want to perform this in a venue where people are eating or somehow it's going to slip into Aunt Muriel's gazpacho. So you have to have some due diligence when it comes to where it is that you want to perform this puppy. But I think it's probably one of my favorite tricks of all time. Now, Hansen Chen has previously sent me the rubber band, and they also sent me a little thing with a dollar bill, which I wasn't a huge fan of. But this is the sort of stuff I like. Things that people could see and remember for years to come. You could do whatever good quality card tricks you made of practice in front of the mirror for hours on end. But you do this, and this is the thing that they're going to remember. So today I thought I'd give you guys not necessarily a review because you already know that I love it, but just to give you guys a word of warning as to what it is that you could expect when you pick this puppy up. So let's start this off by saying that I'm a giant pussy. When it comes to anything involving your eyeballs, I'm not a fan of it. Contact lenses freak me out. I rather wear glasses and look like an absolute loser than have to subject myself to touching my eyeball with contact lenses. So when it came to this product, I was a little bit apprehensive as to whether or not I'm actually going to perform it. Whether or not I'm going to have the actual balls to put this in my eye. Because that's what you're doing. Really, There's no spoiler when I say this, but you're putting a Tic Tac in your mouth and it's coming out of your eye. And you see it coming out of your eyelid. So it's not necessarily a secret that you have to have it underneath your eyelid to begin with. So what you get inside the box is a smaller box that allows you to get ready for this particular trick anytime, anywhere. Now, one thing to note is that mine came with Tic Tacs. On the actual advert copy, it says Tic Tacs will not be provided, but they're easily available everywhere. The other thing you have to purchase is contact lens solution because you don't want to be shoving a dirty Tic Tac in your eyelid. So you do have to buy some contact lens solution, but it's very cheap. You can find it for $4 pretty much anywhere. So what is it that you actually get? You get an instructional video. As a matter of fact, you get two from Eric Ross, who's a good buddy of mine that I met at Magi Fest. A little aside here, but I remember a conversation that Eric Ross had with Eric Leclerc, where Eric Leclerc asked Eric Ross, hey man, what's the best thing you've dealt with in this convention? And Eric Ross says, that little guy over there, PigCake, he's the real deal. And that's how I became friends with Eric Leclerc. But Eric Ross is the one that's actually the brilliant mind behind this little project. And I think it's great. What you actually get are 4 plastic Tic Tac looking things. Now they're smooth, so when you shove them in your eye, there's not going to be any issue with scratching your eyeball or your cornea or anything with that. So they're nice, they're smooth, and they're not Tic Tacs. If you try to do this with Tic Tacs, you're out of your mind because Tic Tacs obviously have a sugary coating. You don't want to shove that in your eyeball. You don't want that melting underneath your eyelid. So this is a plastic alternative that you could easily and safely place underneath your eyeball. Now, if you notice throughout the entirety of the marketing of this particular object, you're going to notice that the word safe is the thing that they push the most. You could look it up in the actual page that I'm going to link in the description section below, and they use the word safe quite a lot. And the truth of the matter is that it is safe. If you follow the instructions that they give you, you clean the thing, you put it in your eyelid exactly as they tell you, nothing's going to happen to you. You might have a little bit of irritation. You might have a little bit of a getting used to period where you have to get used to something shoved in your eyelid for a little bit of time until you could ring it into a conversation and actually perform the trick. But it is a very safe product. Now, that comes at the discretion of the user. If you're somebody that's uncomfortable with shoving stuff in your eyeball, as I was, this might be something that you want to pass on. However, do keep in mind of what I mentioned earlier in that I'm a giant pussy and I still did it. As a matter of fact, I've had one here the entirety of the time that I've done this particular review. It's there. You could see it moving. Right? You could see it moving. It's there underneath my eyelid. I got used to it. It only took maybe 30 minutes the first day of finagling around, and now I could get it in there without looking. The first day it took me a while. I was poking and prodding and shoving, but it's because I didn't pay attention to the instructions and I was trying to find my own clever way of doing it. But now I could do it easily and it's a good trick to have. Now in the actual little kit itself, you're going to get 4 Tic Tacs, as I mentioned before. 2 of them are small, 2 of them are a little bit larger. Why you'd want to shove these larger ones in your eyeball, I have no idea. Now, if you do notice the comparison between the actual plastic little Tic Tacs and real Tic Tacs, these are smaller. Even the larger ones are smaller than a normal Tic Tac. Nobody's going to notice this. You're not performing for Rain Man. And if someone does notice the difference, well, then they have other problems that are more pressing than that. So you get a contact lens case and you get 2 Tic Tacs that are larger, 2 Tic Tacs that are smaller. You also get a pair of tweezers and I guess a little thing that you could move the contact out of the way so that when you actually perform this, you don't have to take out your contacts. You could keep the contacts on and still place the thing underneath your eyelid. And that's really all there is to say about this product. You are paying quite a little bit of a premium for one trick, but it's a trick that's going to last you a long time and it's going to be something that's going to be one of the most memorable things that you're ever going to show to a participant. So for me, this is a 10 out of 10. I can't recommend this enough if you are someone that likes this style of magic. If you want to interject a little bit of geek magic into your work, this is definitely one of the best ways to do it and one of the safest. Originally, this came from a trick that involved a needle. So you'd shove a little piece of nail in your eye and then that's what would move its way to the other eye. Or people would do this with matchstick heads or beans. What they've done is that they've made a safe alternative, something that uses medical grade material that you could shove comfortably in your eyelid and keep it there for quite a long time. I've had Eric tell me that he's had it there for a couple hours. As a matter of fact, in the actual video recording, the person mentions that he's had it there himself for a couple hours himself as well, without any need to adjust it because you just forget that it's there. Now, obviously, you don't want to forget that it's there the entire time, but you have a nice effect that you could perform at least twice on on any given moment without having to reset. So I mean, that's pretty much all I could say about this particular product. Don't know what else I could really mention. If you have any concerns, any questions, please leave it in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to respond to all of you guys that may have any queries as to this particular product. One last thing, by the way, people might worry about the little bump and think, oh man, they're gonna see it there. No, they don't. It's like a thumb tip. They don't see it there. It just looks like you got maybe a little bag there, nothing harmful, and you could get away with actually doing this and having that with the little bump underneath your eyelid. Nobody ever notices. I mean, that's the video. That's as straightforward as they get, my friends. Nothing complicated. Thank you to Hanson for sending this puppy out. As usual, I enjoy and appreciate every time you guys decide to send old Piggy a little bit of a thing to review. I don't think this is officially out yet, but you could definitely put a pre-order. I believe it's on Vanishing Ink. I'll be leaving that in the description section below. And I don't know. You could just contemplate life as you scroll down that particular description section. If you want to buy a Piggy NFT, you could do it there. If you want to buy some Piggy merch, you could also do it there. If you want to, I don't know, join the PigCake Magic Academy, why don't you check that little section out and find yourself something to do, you know?